everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I had a few minutes. I just put the kids to bed and I wanted to film a video for you really quick, but I've been doing renovations and kind of cleaning up the house, so I am in very casual attire. But today I want to talk about how we save money. We are a family of 5 and we are a 1-income family, and we are also a low 1-income family. So my husband is the only one that's really working. I mean, I have YouTube, and I also have a side business, but it's very small. It doesn't bring a lot of money, so I can't really even count it as an income. But my husband's really the only one who's actually working and bringing in a solid, steady income. So I'm not going to give any numbers or anything, but we are low, considered, at least in Canada where we live, we are considered a low income family, or at least in Ontario, Canada, which is where I live. So yeah, I just want to show you, talk to you guys and tell you my tips on how we save. And the biggest thing is just living a very minimal lifestyle, or a minimalistic lifestyle. We really do not spend a lot of money on stuff. So that's my biggest tip. When I was engaged to my husband, or just dating, and even just when we got married, we spent a lot of money, especially me, on useless things. I went out and bought a lot of clothes. I got a lot of shoes. I went out and I just spent money on things we really didn't need, because I didn't have kids. I was actually working at the time as well. So we had much more money than we do now. And yeah, I just didn't really have any expenses except myself. So I definitely bought a lot of things. I liked buying things for the house. I bought tons of clothes and shoes, makeup. We ate out 24/7. I didn't really cook from home much because we enjoyed going out. Yeah, so we did a lot of that. But now that I have kids and we have bills and expenses, we definitely are we live a very minimal lifestyle. So we only buy what we absolutely need, and nothing ever goes to waste. So my next tip is with your groceries. With us in the beginning, I used to buy a lot of fruits and vegetables. When I just got married, it was hard to figure out how much food to make, how much we're gonna eat, and what's actually gonna get thrown out or go to waste. So it definitely took some trial and error, but now I'm definitely in the swing of things. And that was a huge thing for us, was actually saving money on food. So the first thing is you can look for coupons. I don't really do this because I don't really find any coupons on things that I buy. It's usually things with chemicals and stuff that I don't really want to buy. So I don't really find any coupons for organic stuff. So I don't usually use coupons, but you definitely can look into that. I do use coupons for diapers. But in terms of food, I'm getting off topic here. In terms of food, we do not waste anything. The only thing that actually ever gets thrown out, which we compost, is the peels, a watermelon peel or something. We eat everything. So my biggest tip for you is, if you have kids and you're trying to save money on your grocery bill, you're finding that you're spending a lot of money but you're also wasting a lot, or that a lot of food goes rotten in your fridge, my biggest tip is, say you make your kids a lunch and you put some veggies and whatever on their plate. If there's any veggies left over, I leave it on the table, and that's what they eat the next time before they get to eat their dinner that I made, if that makes sense. And then if they didn't finish their breakfast, then they eat their breakfast for lunch first, then they get what I prepared for lunch. That way nothing actually ever gets thrown out. You're always using everything. And then my next tip is, at the end of the week, if you have a bunch of veggies, I think that veggies are really the only thing that goes bad most of the time. Jars and sauces usually are pretty good. So if you have any veggies that are rotting and you're I really need to use these up, but I don't, we can't eat it right now, I take all my veggies, I throw them in a pot and make chicken or vegetable stock, and then I freeze it. So then that way the next week I can take the stock out, and that can be my soup base, and I can just throw in some shredded chicken, maybe some wild rice, and you have a good soup. So that way nothing's ever going to waste. I utilize the heck out of my freezer. So another thing is, if I had meal prepped that week and I made a big lasagna or something and we don't eat it all, and the end of the week is coming and it has 1 day left of good life before we have to toss it, then I will just wrap it up really well and put it in the freezer, and then the next time we eat it, I'll just defrost it, heat it up, and we can eat it that day. So if I ever see anything rotting, that's what we do. But nothing really rots now that I'm really in the rhythm of things, and I know exactly what my kids are gonna eat and what I'm gonna eat, so I know how much to buy. So it's definitely a lot easier now. That's a huge tip, is just really watching your grocery bills. The next thing is kind of with food. We don't really eat out anymore. We designate date night days, and my husband and I will go out on a date, or we have family days where we'll take the kids out for a treat or for dinner or something, and those are designated, and those are we put those in our budget. But we don't really do I'm too lazy, I'm gonna go get Thai for dinner. unless it's like a real reason, like we were super sick that day and I actually couldn't cook. But we really just try to stay at home and cook as much as possible because it is cheaper overall than having to go out and eat. So that's like a big tip for us. So yeah, so another thing that we used to do was when we would get our paycheck, we would spend it. So we would go pay our bills, buy our groceries, you know, pay our rent, whatever we had to do. And then any money that was left over, we didn't really think of, let's save it. We thought of, how can we spend it? What do we need? So we would go out and buy, like I said, random things, a new microwave or a new TV, whatever we thought we needed, but really we could have done without. So now what we do is we try to spend the least amount between our bills and our groceries and everything, and whatever we have left, we invest it. So my husband does stocks and he does a couple other things. But if we don't want to actually invest it, we just put it into a savings account, and the type of account we have only lets you take out money once a month. So if I were to take out $50 from that account, I couldn't take anything else out the rest of the month. So it's good in the sense that it prevents you from seeing that you have some money in your savings and you decide, you know, I want a pizza, I'm gonna take money out of my savings. It doesn't let you do that, which is nice. So we will every month maybe put 100 or 200, even if it's just $10, like we put something in there so that we have something saved, and it has a higher interest rate than our main account does. So it helps us in that way, like we get a bigger interest. We don't make a significant amount because there's not a significant amount in there, but yeah, it helps. And then the next thing that we started doing was, we used to have our credit card limit to like, I think it was like 2,000. And what we found was that at one point we were always having it maxed out. Like we would pay, you know, a couple hundred on it, but then there would be a couple hundred available, so we would use it. So what we started doing, and it took us about 5 or 6 months, is every single month we lowered it like $200, like lowered our credit limit to $100. So it went from 2,000 to 1,800 limit, and then to 1,600 limit, and then to 1,400, etc. And we did that all the way down until we got to like 1,000. And then we left 1,000 as our credit limit for a little while. And then once we bought our new house here, then we lowered it down, and I think it's at like 700. And our goal is to get it, like we don't want to go too much lower because we know that it affects our credit rating or whatever, but we definitely want to get it low enough that the most damage we can do is like $500 in debt, which you can pay that off really easily. So I think that that's a huge thing too, is a lot of people, if you have like a high credit limit, you'll be, you know, that's a human nature. It's that tendency to just spend, and you'll somehow spend it on something, and then your debt will be much higher. Your debt will be 5,000 instead of 500. So that was really big for us. That helped us a lot. And then another thing too, so because my husband is the only income provider in the family, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and even if I wanted to work, I couldn't because I have the 3 kids, and because they are all so young, they're not school age yet, I would have to pay for all of them to be in daycare. And if I were to pay for them to be in daycare, the money I make from work would just cover daycare and not much else. So what I do is I stay at home, obviously. So I find ways to bring in money. Sorry, my camera keeps shutting off. I gotta rush through this. So I started like my own business. So I started YouTube, although YouTube I did not start to make money because I didn't even know you can make money at that time when I was starting YouTube. And then I started making money and I was just like, oh, okay. But yeah, so YouTube wasn't like started off to make money, but I started a business. So if you don't know, I'm in school to be a holistic nutritionist, and I should be graduating in about 6-7 months, depending when I write the final exam and all that. So once I have that business, like my husband is building the website for me, we're doing business cards and coming up with my business strategy and my services that I'm going to provide. And I already have picked up some clients. So it's nice in the sense that I know in a couple months from now, our income will be significantly higher because I have people who said they will guarantee, and they're close to me too, they said they'll guarantee come and use my services because they need help, and that they'll be paying me, and you get paid a significant amount of money. So that's what I was looking for, a way, because I knew I loved nutrition, and I said, how can I do what I love but also bring extra money in from home? And for me, it was you know, being a holistic nutritionist, because my goal is going to be mostly like online based clients. So, I mean, I'm not saying that you should go back to school or anything like that, but there are so many ways you could earn money online now. Honestly, there's a website, if you don't know, I think it's called Fiverr, and these people pretty much offer any services you can imagine for like $5. So they'll film a quick video for you if you want to advertise a product. They will draw like a certain design for you for a logo, like anything you can imagine they do for $5. So you could sit at your home and say, what am I good at? Am I good at drawing? Am I good at speaking? Like anything, and go on Fiverr and put your services on there. And it starts at $5. It goes, you can go higher than that. So check out that website. So there's a few things you honestly can do from home if you really need that extra money and you can't leave to work, that could bring in an extra income. Now, even if it's like an extra $100 a month, that I'm sure could help. So those are just like some tips like that we do anyways to bring extra money in the house. And then one final thing before I end the video, we used to have, like, we never had a ton of debt. We were always like fairly good with money. When I grew up, like my parents were always so tight with their money, like, and how they spent it. And they taught us to be the same way with our money, to not just blow it on random things. So there was a period of my life where I was blowing money on things because, you know, I was young and, you know, just kind of like didn't really think about the future. But now I am super good with money, and I'm so grateful to my parents because they taught me how to be good with money. But what we did was, at the end of every month, we would put some money in our savings, like I mentioned earlier. And then if there was any money left, even if it was just $10, we'd put it against our debt. So right now we have our house debt, but we kind of don't count it as a debt. We count it as an asset, because if we were to sell our house, we'd have at least $100,000. We would cover our debt and have at least an extra $100,000 left over. So we don't count the house as debt. We kind of count it as an asset. So in terms of debt, we really just have our car, which was our van. We had to buy it. We had no car debt until we bought our van last January because we had a third kid. So we needed the van. So that was something, but I personally really wanted a truck. And I was like, I really, really want to have a truck. And we found one that we liked, but it was so expensive and it was gonna be crazy on gas. So we were more frugal, bought a van. That was what we could, within our price range, it was what we could afford. It's a Dodge Caravan. They were like the cheapest vans on the market. For the most space. So we got that, and then we literally would put, if we only had $10 left at the end of the month, that's what we would put towards our debt of our van. So we're making our monthly payments, plus we're putting a little bit extra every month. And now our debt is pretty much done. We should be paying it off within the year. And then the only debt we're gonna have is our house. So even if I used to have student loans, I did have student loans, but I paid that off when we sold our house and bought this one. There was some money left over, so I paid that off, thank God. So any debt that you have, whether it's a car debt or a line of credit, anything like that, if you have any money left at the end of the month, just put it towards the debt that you can pay off the fastest. So if you have a $5,000 debt, a $2,000 debt, and a $40,000 debt, start with the $2,000. Because if you're making payments every single month on all of these things, you're gonna have less cash flow. So if you pay off the smallest one, that money that you're paying monthly to that will go towards your cash flow once it's paid off, and then you can start paying off the second debt faster and then the third debt faster, if that makes sense. So those are just some of the tips we used. You can look into Dave Ramsey. He is super good with debt and like managing and budgeting and, you know, handling your money. So you can check it. He has an awesome YouTube channel, so you can check him out. But I got a lot of info from him. So yeah, so that's pretty much what we do. We just really watch like our spending. We don't just go buy random things anymore like we used to. We buy what we absolutely need for our groceries and supplements and stuff, and we do not waste anything. We are so careful with what, you know, we're wasting and spending. And then we just paid off our debts as fast as possible, starting with the smallest to the biggest. And we just keep our credit limit really low, so we cannot spend more than that. And then we had a savings account, like I said, where we put money in every month and we can't take it out. So those are all just some big tips that really helped us save. Like I said, we're a family of 5 on one low income. So it's super helpful to just be really frugal. And it's gonna be worth it in the long run. Like, you know, if you have hardly any debts now and stuff, as your kids grow, you'll be able to afford those vacations and to enjoy time with them and stuff, because you won't be tied down to debt. So I'd rather like be tight now, and then when the kids get a little bit older, we have a little bit more money to play with, you know, to treat them and do things. So anyways, this was just a super casual video, kind of sharing my tips on what we do personally to save money and get by on a one-income family with a house. So if you like this type of video, then please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you are new to my channel. And if you don't know, I have a second YouTube channel, Healthy Life, Happy Life. It's also in the description box below. And I just share lots of like healthy tips and holistic remedies and all that good stuff. So you can go there and check it out if it interests you. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I love you all, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.